and I'll try to aspire to be as awesome as you, which is ultimately a disservice to you because you have demons too. And if I'm only acknowledging that which is spoken and appears to be working in you, and I'm trying to find ways into reckoning what is unspoken and seems to be working about you, well, that's kind of treating you like a child, isn't it? Actually, it's not, because woe betide the child who's raised that way or treated that way. We've got to walk with the angels and the demons, both. We got to have a relationship with both. How about that? I'm not saying let all the demons in and shun the good stuff. I'm not saying do the opposite of what I do, because I know that guy. A lot of those guys. Disillusioned, disenchanted, pumped full of hostility, ready to aggro on people. I think the worst of everyone. I think the worst of themselves. Jesus. I know a lot more of that guy than I do of the guy who's pushing the happy pill. I'm happy every day. You can be too. Pay me money and I'll show you how. That guy. I don't know as many of those guys. I don't know if I can think of 2 or 3. But I don't deal with them. I don't partake with them. I don't dine with or visit them. Same as the hostile people. There's a couple that I come around every few months or have a conversation with every once in a blue moon. Used to be every day at the grocery store. Can you see why I left? Can you see why I prefer my own company right now? There's too many pushers. Oh my God, you know something right now? We're going to do a shout out. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. Woo! And I'm going to do it reverse style. I'm going to say the thing and then I'm going to give the credit. Are you ready? What I'm looking for cannot be sold to me. I wish they all would stop trying. It's nice. Do you know where that comes from? I toast you. I toast you in good cheer, one way or the other, but I do it twice. If you know where that comes from. If you don't, spoilers! I want you to listen to that song, so of course I'm going to shout it out. I also want to give love to the people who made that lyric. Because that particular lyric is a baller lyric. What I'm looking for cannot be sold to me. I wish they would all stop trying. Oh, man. Not the happiest quote, not the most humorous quote, right? But everyone's trying to sell you something. That lyric is from a song called When It Comes. I think that's the name of it. The album that song is on is called Make Yourself. And the band has a name. And the band's name is Incubus. Which, for all those who don't know, basically an incubus is the male version of a succubus. See, you just get all these free gifts when you're on my podcast. You just get all this good stuff. Download that song, buy it, pay the band. It's good for you. You'll be glad you did. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you listened. Anywho, Oh, that's what it really is, man. That's why I prefer my own company. Because I know what I'm trying to sell myself. And I know how to negotiate with myself. And I know that as time goes on, I strike better and better accords with myself. We don't need as many business meetings. The ones we do have don't need to be as dire all the time. I was just having dire inner meeting after dire inner meeting. And then things began to change a little. I noticed the other day I was ready to spiral down into one of those meetings and try to sway my internal economy based on conversations where parts of me that do not need to be steering the ship are trying to sell me on behaviors, responses, reactions, ways of viewing things as they come on, all that stuff. At the board meeting, I immediately called it and I said, nope, I'm good. I hear you, but I've got this. And the meeting was ended. And there was no need for buying or selling. That's why I like my company. I don't know a lot of people that I can do that with outside of myself. There's a few where their points and their material, their positions, their opportunities they have for me, all those things, their viewpoints, everything, where we can have conversations. And I don't feel like they're trying to fuck me. You know? There's a few people like that. You know, I say that it sounds a little cynical. Let me say this as well. Oh yeah, here we go. Not a lot of people are trying to fuck me. Not a lot of people are trying, understand? Just like not a lot of people are trying to sell me anything. So I guess I might disagree with the lyric. Oh no, I wouldn't, because Incubus doesn't make any mention of who's trying to sell them stuff. I think the thing that's underneath the water of those words of the lyrics is, yeah, everyone's trying to sell me something, which I would disagree. I would say plenty of people are. But for every one of those people you meet, you just meet a lot of people who are... You ever met somebody who was raised in a really fundamentalist, really conservative scripture or religion or cult? Anybody who ever had the strictest of the strict parents and they just didn't know, wandering around through life, until sometimes they learned that everything that they did, said, everything that they showed other people, the way they showed up to conversations and to other people, they were always proselytizing. Is that the right way of saying that word? Proselytizing? They were always pushing. They were always selling the thing that raised them, the viewpoint. We all can't necessarily help that. A lot of it's unconscious. Even when it is conscious, we can lose it really easily. I get it. Changing the blueprints is not easy. And yes, we all have agendas. We were all raised. And yes, those things affect us always. But what I'm saying is, one of the lighter aspects of this conversation, cactus tuna. Wow. Look at the colors. Jesus. Where's the thorns on you? Where's your thorns at? That's right, I'm touching you. That's right, my hands might itch in a half an hour. It's fine. What I'm trying to say is this is not nefarious. This is just reflex. This is just the shadow side of a really good thing, which is what we were talking about earlier, the word of mouth and the processions, the stories, the way that information goes from your generation to the next generation. ritual, procedure, stories, all that stuff. When you do it well, and you impart something of true value, you're a shaman, or maybe a warrior. When you do it without knowing what you're putting out there, particularly if that ends up hurting somebody, then you're not. But what I'm saying is, what was that thing? What was that thing? Oh, okay. I'm gonna wait for this guy to pass, and then we'll go. There was a quote that I'm thinking about. Never ascribe, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Never attribute nefariousness to what otherwise could be explained by incompetence. That's a negative way of putting it. I don't mean it negatively. I mean, most of the damage you're going to suffer from people in your life is, I say most, I don't know you. Let's say that there's a fair shake to be shook for the perspective that a significant amount of the damage you suffer in your life is going to be from folks who don't mean to hurt you. The majority of the people who are sharking and who are salesmanning you bad stuff in a bad conversational economy, it's not conscious. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're just people. And we're all doing it. I'm clearly trying to sell you on that it's worth it to try and do a really hard thing, bring along a bunch of strangers who you don't know to the party to judge your performance or to be inspired by it, or both. I'm clearly making the case with every step that I take that that's a worthwhile endeavor. I'm inviting you. I invited you every episode so far, probably. Deliberately, verbally. The name of the podcast is Ride Along with Run Man. I'm not saying run with me. I don't want you to run with me. I'm not Forrest Gump. What I'm saying is let's get it done. Whatever it is. And that's a sales point. That's a pitch. You don't have to listen. Flowers on the side of the road. Remember when we were right over there the other day and I put you on that water thing? And I was frustrated and angry, and then we talked about anger for 2 hours while I was running like a loon harping in public over nothing. Okay. I was getting a little charged there. I just get a little defensive when I feel like I have to backpedal. Like I have to explain myself. I don't have to explain myself. Actually, you know something? That's a big one. Somebody sold me that a long time ago. And I've been trying to put it into a nice little luggage bag and ship it. So it's out of my hair. It's this agreement. Oh my God. It's this agreement that everybody can be talked to. It's this agreement that it is always worth it to try to reach somebody no matter how unreasonable they are. No matter how clear it is that they will never listen to you. No matter how clear it is that when they agree with the points you're making, they're not really agreeing. The unspoken and the spoken have schismed. Or they snap at you. And you still try to explain yourself. And you still try to give them the good medicine. Which again, that's not treating that other person like an adult. That's like trying to spoon feed a child cough syrup. Fuck that. Not with adults, I say. Ones that are ambulatory and, you know, haven't been hit in the head or whatever. That agreement's so old. I used to think that There was like a metric for that. And it's not based on anything bad, remember? These are just things. Just human things. They're not trying to hurt anybody. If that makes any sense. I might be muddling up terms at this point and confusing you. In fact, I would go so far as to say this entire podcast is an exercise in confusion. I would highly recommend, and I don't think I've done this verbally yet, I would highly recommend that when you tune in and listen to this and come along for the ride, you're probably best served to phase in and out. You know, let it be when something catches your ear that you pay attention. Or if I come up to some point that's really pretty, or whatever, you know? This podcast is probably best half listened to. Because remember what my mentor told me. Very, very true. If I forget it and we don't get to it in this conversation, that's okay. If it doesn't come up or it doesn't get communicated appropriately, that's a-okay. When the time is right, if there's a time for it, it will come. You know how much release that statement has? Oh my God. My addiction to getting my words just right and the way of my speech just right, to try and worm its way, to try to lockpick my speech through doors of people's false agreeing, through their snapping, through everything, to try to reach them. How much time have I put into that? How much effort? I worked in retail with the hard sub category of customer service. I've only worked one job in my life where you didn't have to. Okay, now 2. Now 3. Because this is a job, by the way. It's a damn good job. Maybe I'll get paid for it at some point too. That'd be cool. But aside from that, in the past, most of my experience working at the 2 jobs I've spent most of my life doing, most of my adult life, customer service, food, retail stuff, where you always have to treat the customer like they're right. You've got to put yourself out there to be under fire of somebody else's meltdown. I've had a man look into my eyes who wanted to kill me. And the reason why I was there and that he was there was because I was behind a counter, because standing behind that counter and looking at him in those moments, wondering if he was going to lunge across and hit me with the beer mug, the heavy, thick beer mug that he had in his hand. That was how I was going to make my money that day. That's the stage that's set for the customer service employees. God bless all of you. You know? There's the army. Way up top. Army, military, Navy, whatever. They're at the level, I would say, of necessity in our culture, in our world, at least right now. Like top essential workers. What do you think about top essential workers? I think military, I think paramedics, police officers, that kind of thing. And not too far beneath that level are leaders of different kinds, people in really powerful positions to make good change in our society, in our culture. And I love the hell out of them, and I respect them, and I've met enough of them to know that they're real, that they exist. They don't always look the way that they are. You can't always tell one just by looking at them. But right below them are your maintenance staff, like your plumbers, your carpenters, and us in the service industry. So, that's my take. I just tried to sell you like 5 things in this last hour and a half. Preferences exist. Here are some people with some preferences. Here's a little bit on preferences relating to this thing called seeing, which, if you've been a shaman your entire life, you would probably just call it paying attention. I don't know, though. I think Don Juan might have been a shaman his entire life. He called it seeing, or at least it was translated into English as seeing. You wonder if Carlos took any liberties with those conversations. There's no way that he didn't. The data is too extensive. There's too much written about those guys hanging out, having their conversations, hiking and fixing stuff and providing, their value to the cultures that they were involved in. So we did all that. It was an unusual run, a circuit that I have never taken. It just kind of, it started off as just like a backwards regular circuit, but then we kind of took a weird detour, which totally worked. But nothing's perfect. Anyway, then we talked about salesmanship and agreements, and I went off on, because it's kind of still close to the heart, I'll get over it. But right now we're releasing. Sometimes releasing is emotional. Talk about holistic seeing. To see, there has to be an alignment of your emotional self, your thinking self, and your spirit. Present. Held in presence, Everyone comes to the table. Maybe some more than others. Depends on the thing that you're looking at and trying to actually see. Right? Anyway, I'm not well enough versed in sight and seeing to comment further. In fact, I've overstepped my bounds prolifically. I hope that I've provided honor to these people that I respect, who I genuinely do think have put good stuff out into the world. I'm okay being sold some things, if they work. If you have a good product, I hope this product is good. I would want to be well off enough to be able to pay me to do this. I suppose I am paying me to do this, since I'm not doing something else that would be making me money at this very moment. It's an investment in the future. And it's an investment in me. And by proxy, since you're with me, it's an investment in you too. One that I'm happy to give. I'll do it again and again. Apparently, I'm going to do it every day. Apparently, I'm going to spend 5 hours every day doing it. Whew. You know what that is? That's a part-time job. I guess that's why I call myself Run Man, because I'm making it my business, and I don't plan on working full-time. I am breaking that agreement with society. I'm not doing it. I'm going to put in a shit ton of work over a period of time, and then it's just going to do itself. If that doesn't make any sense in the context of running, just think about it. It's not that it's not work. It's just that I would be doing it anyway. That I'll do part-time. That I'll do full-time. I would be quite happy to do what I want full-time. And when I say I would, I mean that's what's happening. Maybe not today. Maybe not 100%. Maybe never 100%. Remember my stance on absolutes? Woo! Just got poked in the eye. God damn. I had to give you a Deadpool. Did I wake your dog? I'm sorry. Sorry, ruffers. Sorry, rubbin' puppers. Sorry, Snoogles the cat. If that is your real name. Woo! That's it, man. We did it. We made it. Notice how I didn't spend a significant portion of this conversation chiding myself on my speech patterns. We only did a little bit of backpedaling, and we didn't get that triggered. We didn't act explosively. Whew. Oh, God. Oh, the wrist. Oh. Oh, my God. Can you see that? Oh, my God. That's so good. Oh, okay. Woo! That was a live one. Okay, into the shade, into the shade, into the shade. Oh. No, Runman is done running today. Now, we check the time. Shoot, it's way over time. I gotta get inside and get on this Zoom meeting. Okay. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a... Take 3 with me, how about that? There it is. Okay. Signing off. Have a good one. Love ya.